Hello students. So in the previous video, we have solved problems on distance formula. So in this video, let's learn two important things. One is section formula. The other one is midpoint formula. Okay. So let's start with section formula. Now say suppose we have got 2 points. Okay. Let's say there is a point A whose coordinate is x1, comma y1. Let's say the coordinate is x1 comma y1, and let's say there is another point B whose coordinate is x2 comma y2. So we have taken 2 points. One point is A whose coordinate is x1 y1, the other point is B whose coordinate is x2 y2. Let's join these 2 points. So joining these 2 points, what do we get? We get a line segment, isn't it? So as you can see, we get a line segment. Now, say suppose, let's take a point in between A and B, okay, somewhere, anywhere, not exactly at the middle, somewhere, anywhere, okay, let me take the point here, okay, somewhere here. Let's say this point is P, okay, whose coordinate is x comma y, okay, the coordinate of P is x comma y. Now, what is this P doing for the line segment AB? It is dividing the line segment, isn't it? As soon as you place the point P on the line segment, AB is divided into 2 parts, that is AP and PB, isn't it? So let's say the ratio on comparing AP and PB, let's say AP and PB are divided in the ratio m:1. Okay. So on comparing, we got to know that AP and PB are divided in the ratio m:1. Okay. m:1. Now, the coordinate of P can be found. Okay. That is the section formula. Okay. And we say this, the point P is dividing the line segment internally because the point is in between AB. Okay. You can also divide the line segment externally, but here we are going to talk only about internal section. Okay. Now, here the point P at x comma y, the coordinates of P x comma y can be found using this formula. X comma y, that will be equal to mx2 plus nx1 divided by m plus n. This is to find x value, okay, and to find y value, same formula with y. That's it. my2 plus ny1 divided by m plus n. Okay. Now we have got 2 points A and B. Joining A and B, we get a line segment. If a point P is dividing the line segment in the ratio m:1, then that point P can be found using the section formula, okay, which I have given. Now let's take the other one, midpoint formula. Let's take the other one, midpoint formula. Now same thing, let's take 2 points A and B. Let's say there is a point A whose coordinate is x1 comma y1, and let's say there is a point B x2 comma y2. Okay, on joining this x1 y1 and x2 y2, we get a line segment. Let's take a line segment over here, AB. Now see, earlier P was not dividing the AB into 2 equal halves. Okay, we took P somewhere in between, not exactly at the middle. Now what we'll do is, let's take P exactly at the middle. Okay, which means P is acting as midpoint. Okay, that is why the name midpoint formula. Earlier it was not the midpoint, so we were using section formula. Now if it is midpoint in the sense, the ratio will be same. It will be m:m or 1:1 or n:n. Okay, because AP value and PB value are equal, isn't it? If P is the midpoint, AP and PB will be equal. So if you take the ratio, what you will get? We will get it as 1:1, isn't it? We'll get as, suppose AP length is 3 centimeter, PB will also be 3 centimeter. So we can write it as 3:3 ratio, or if you divide it, 3 ones are 3 ones are. So it will become 1:1 ratio. Okay. So suppose P is midpoint, okay, then we can say that or we can find the coordinates of P, x comma y is given by the formula x1 plus x2 divided by 2. This is to find x, comma y1 plus y2 divided by 2. The first one is to find x, the next one is to find y value. Okay. So we are going to use the section formula when the point P divides in unequal ratio. That is, suppose the point is dividing the line in the ratio 2:3, 3:4, like this unequal ratio, we take section formula. Suppose if it is dividing the line segment in this ratio 2:2, 3:3, 1:1, in this case we are going to use midpoint formula. So two different formulas, very, very important. So we have to use midpoint formula if P is a midpoint. Otherwise, we are going to use section formula. Okay. So two important formulas. So let's start with the exercise problems. So let's start with the exercise problems. First question. Let's take the first question. Yeah, as you can see, the first question, find the, okay, it's not visible, I guess. Let me, yeah. Find the coordinates of the point which divides the join of -1, 7 and 4, -3 in the ratio 2:3. Okay, so what they have given us is, let's start with the solution. Find the coordinates of the point. Remember, find the coordinates in the sense we have to find both the x value and y value. So find the coordinates of the point which divides the join of -1, 7 and 4, -3 in the ratio 2:3. So let's take a point A, okay, which is -1, 7, and let's take another point B, which is 4, -3. So let's join these 2 points. Let's join these 2 points. Okay, using a line segment. Okay, this is the line segment that we have got. Now there is a point P. Okay, let's take it as P. Okay, which is dividing the line in the ratio 2:3. It is dividing the line in the ratio 2:3. So what we have to find is the coordinates of P. That is, we have to find the x value and y value. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, now initially what we'll do is, let's write down x1, y1. X1 is -1, y1 is 7, x2 is 4, y2 is -3. If you remember, A was x1, y1, right? The coordinates of A was x1, y1. The coordinates of B was x2, y2. So we have taken x1 as -1, y1 as 7, x2 as 4, y2 as -3. Okay. Now, the ratio m:/n is equal to 2:3. So here, what we can do is we can assume m as 2 and n as 3. Usually, we are not supposed to take, see, m is to n in the sense m by n is equal to 2/3. So here we can take m value as 2 and n value as 3. Okay, but in general, we are not supposed to take like that. But here anyhow, in the derivation, we can use it. Okay. So m value is 2, n value is 3. Okay. So let's write down the formula. What is the formula? P at x, y. The point P at x, y or x, y directly is equal to mx2 plus nx1 divided by m plus n, my2 plus ny1 divided by m plus n. Okay, so therefore x, y is equal to, what is the value of m? 2. What is the value of x2? It is 4. Plus what is the value of n? 3. What is the value of x1? -1 divided by m plus n, that is 2 plus 3, comma m value again 2, y2 value is -3 plus n value is 3, y1 value is 7. So divided by 2 plus 3. Therefore we get x, y is equal to 2 4s are 8 plus into minus minus 3 1s are 3. So 2 plus 3 is 5, comma 2 into minus 3 is minus 6 plus 21 divided by 5. So what do we get? X comma y is equal to 8 minus 3 is 5 by 5. Minus 6 plus 21 is 15 by 5. Therefore, which implies x comma y is equal to 5 by 5 is 1, 15 by 5 is 3. Therefore, the coordinates of the point P is 1 comma 3. It's very simple. We have to just memorize the formula. Okay. We know the value of x1, y1, x2, y2 and the ratio m is to n. Substitute in the formula, we will directly get the answer. So let's get into the next problem. So the next question, find the coordinates of the points of trisection of the line segment. Trisection in the sense a line segment is divided into 3 equal parts. Okay. Find the coordinates of the points of trisection of the line segment joining 4 comma minus 1 and minus 2 comma minus 3. So let's do this. So there is a point, let's say it is A. Okay. The coordinates of A is plus 4 comma minus 1. And let's say there is another point B whose coordinate is minus 2 comma minus 3. So on joining this, what do we get? We get a line segment. So let's take a line segment. We have got a line segment. Now this line segment is trisected. Remember, bisected in the sense divided into 2 equal parts. Trisected in the sense divided into 3 equal parts. So if I have to divide this line segment into 3 equal parts, in between, how many points do you need? You need 2 points, isn't it? If you place only 1 point, you get 2 parts. If you place 2 points, you get 3 parts. So let's take this as P, whose coordinate, let me take it as xy. Okay, or later we'll take it. Let's take this point as P and let's take this point as Q. Okay. So what they have given is, they have given that AP is equal to PQ is equal to QB. Remember this, because the line segment is trisected. Trisected in the sense we have got 3 parts which are equal. AP and PQ and QB. All 3 parts are equal. Okay. Now, according to the formula, if you want to find the coordinates of P and Q, you need x1, y1, x2, y2, which is known. X1 is 4, y1 is minus 1. Similarly, x2 is minus 2, y2 is minus 3. You know x1, y1, x2, y2. What else is required? M and n value. Okay. Now observe. So here, to find the value of P, okay, let's forget this Q for a minute. Let's forget this Q. Okay. If you forget the Q, see, now this is how the figure is. If you want to find the value of P, you should know the ratio in what it is dividing. Okay. Now Q was here, isn't it? Now, since this is all 3 parts are equal, let me take it as one equal part, one equal part, one equal part. Okay, AP, PB, PQ, QB, all 3 are equal, isn't it? If you observe the left side of P, how many parts are there? Only 1 part is there. Okay, 1 part in the sense we don't know what is the measurement. See, basically this line is divided into 3 equal parts, right? This is the first part, the second part, and the third part. So left side of the P, how many equal parts you got? 1 part. Right side of the P, how many equal parts you got? 2 parts. Therefore, I can say that the point P is dividing the line segment in what ratio? 1:2 ratio. Because left side of P, how many parts you got? Only 1 part. Right side of P, you got 2 equal parts. Therefore, P is dividing the line segment in the ratio 1:2. So to find P, okay, M is to N is equal to 1:2, which implies M value is 1 and N value is 2, which implies M value is 1, N value is 2. So let's find the value of P. Okay. So what do we get? X comma Y is equal to mx2 plus nx1 divided by m plus n, comma my2 plus ny1 divided by m plus n. So this is the formula, isn't it? Now that will be equal to x comma y. Okay, that will be equal to m value is 1, x2 value is -2, plus n value is 2, and x1 value is 4, divided by m plus n. So it will become 1 plus 2. Okay, m value again, m value is 1, y2 is -3, n is 2, y1 is -1, divided by 1 plus 2. So we have got m and n value. I'm sorry, yeah. Now therefore x comma y will be equal to 1 into -2 is 1 into -2 is -2, plus 2 4s are 8, divided by 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 into -3 is -3. 2 into -1 is -2, divided by 3. Okay. Therefore, x comma y will become -2 plus 8 is 6. 6 by 3 is 2. -3 minus 2 is -5, divided by 3. Therefore, the coordinates of P is 2, minus 5 by 3. Now let's find Q. To find Q, what will be ms to n? Let's look at the figure. Okay, let's look at the figure. If you observe the figure, the left side of Q, you got 2 equal parts, and right side of Q, you got only 1 equal part. Therefore, you can say Q is dividing the line segment in what ratio? 2:1 ratio. Okay, so it will be the opposite, 2:1 ratio, which implies m value is 2, n value is 1. So let's solve this. Okay, so let's write the formula. The formula is x comma y is equal to mx2 plus nx1 divided by m plus n, comma my2 plus ny1 divided by m plus n. So x comma y is equal to m value is 2 here, x2 value is -2, n value is 1, x1 value is 4, divided by m plus n. So it will become 2 plus 1, comma m value is 2, y2 value is -3, plus n value is 1, y1 value is -1, divided by 2 plus 1. So 2 into -2 is -4, plus 4 divided by 3, comma -6 minus 1 divided by 3. So it becomes x comma y is equal to -4 plus 4 is 0. 0 by 3 is 0 itself. -6 minus 1 is -7, divided by 3. Therefore, the coordinates of Q is -7 by 3. It's very easy, students. What we have done is we have found the ratio. We know x1, y1. We know x2, y2. Once again, as you can see here, we know x1, y1. We know x2, y2. What we were not knowing is the value of m and n. So if you observe, since it is trisected, if you observe the point P, left side of the P, there is only one part. Okay, one equal part. Right side of the P, you have got 2 equal parts, isn't it? So therefore, you can say that P is dividing the line segment in the ratio 1:2. Similarly, for Q, if you observe the left side, it is 2 equal parts. Right side is 1 equal part. Therefore, you can say it is dividing in the ratio 2:1. So you got the value of x1, y1, x2, y2, and m and n. So easily you can use the formula and you can find the answer. Let's get into the third question. So in the third question, as you can see, to conduct sports day activities in your rectangular shaped school ground ABCD. So there is a ground ABCD. Lines have been drawn with chalk powder at a distance of 1 meter each. Okay, which means, so if you observe here, this distance is 1 meter. Okay, so each distance is 1 meter. Okay, 100 flower pots have been placed at a distance of 1 meter from each other. That is, from one pot, from this pot to this pot, okay, we have got a distance of 1 meter. Okay, so you can see the markings 1, 2, This is at the second meter, this is at the third meter, fourth meter, fifth meter. It's like that. Okay. Now, as shown in the figure, Niharika runs 1/4 of the distance AD. Okay. Niharika runs 1/4 of the distance AD on the second line and posts a green flag. Okay. Preet runs 1/5 of the distance of AD on the 8th line and posts a red flag. What is the distance between both the flags? If Rashmi has to post a blue flag exactly halfway between the line segment joining the two flags, where should she post her flag? Okay. Now, let's say the first girl who's running here. Okay. This girl is Niharika. Niharika, let's say she is running how much? 1/4 of the distance. Okay. Now, what is the distance of AD? If you observe, in AD, we have placed how many pots? 100 pots, 100 flower pots. Each pot is at a distance of 1 meter. Each pot is at a distance of 1 meter. So, therefore, AD value will become how much? It will become 100 meters because there are 100 pots, isn't it? Therefore, the value of AD is 100 pots. Therefore, distance covered by Niharika, that is given as 1/4 of AD. It is given in the question as 1/4 of AD. So 1/4 of AD. AD value is 100 because what is the distance? There are 100 pots which are at 1 meter distance. So the total value will be 100 meters. So we get it as 20, which means she has covered a distance of 20 meters. So she is at a distance of 20 meter. Okay. Now similarly, distance covered by Preet. It is given as what? 1/5 of, sorry, 4 ones are 425s are, I'm sorry, 25 meter. Distance covered by Preet, that will be equal to 1/5 of AD, and AD is equal to 100. So 1/5 into 100. So we get it as 20 meters. Okay. Now, which means she will be at the 20th pot. Okay. And Niharika will be at the 25th pot. Okay. Now, from here, from this data, we can actually find the coordinates of Niharika and Preet. Okay. Niharika is at 25th pot, isn't it? So, if you consider AD to be y-axis, this to be y-axis, and this to be x-axis. In the x-axis, she is at second, isn't it? And y-axis, she is at, let's say this is 25th pot. Okay, therefore, what will be the coordinates? The coordinates will be 2, 25, isn't it? Because in the x-axis, she is in the second column, and in the y-axis, 25th, isn't it? Therefore, 2, 25. For Preet, it will be 8, 20, because she is at the 20th pot. Okay, this is 20. Let's say this is 20, and here it is 8. Okay, so this point will be 8, 20 and 2, 25. Okay, so what we have found is the coordinates. Okay, we have found the coordinates. Let me write that. Therefore, the coordinates of Niharika and Preet are 2, 25 and 8, 20 respectively. So what is the coordinate of Niharika? 2, 25, and Preet we can take it as 8, 20. Okay, we have got the coordinates. What exactly should we find in this question? What we have to find is, okay, let me scroll a little bit down. Okay, now here, what is the thing that we have to find is, see, there is another person who's Rashmika. She wants to place a flag exactly. She wants to place a flag exactly in between them. Okay, let's say this is the line segment joining them. Okay, she wants to place the flag exactly in between. Okay, so we have to find the coordinates. Where should she pose the flag? Okay, we have to find the coordinates. Okay, now since she has to place the flag exactly in the middle, so this point is acting like a midpoint. Okay, this is Rashmi, so let's take it as R. Okay, Niharika is N and P. Okay, so we have to find the coordinates of R. So since it is at exactly middle, we'll be using the midpoint formula. Okay, so coordinates of R, that is x comma y, that will be equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2 comma y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Why are we using midpoint formula? Because in the question they have very clearly mentioned that Rashmi has to place the flag or post the flag exactly middle, okay, in between Niharika and Preet. Okay, so what is x1 value? So as you can see, 2 comma 25. The coordinates of Niharika is 2 comma 25 and Preet is 8 comma 20, isn't it? So very clearly x1 is 2, y1 is 25, x2 is 8 and y2 is 20. So let's substitute. X1 is 2 plus x2 is 8 divided by 2 comma y1 is 25 plus y2 is 20 divided by 2. So 2 plus 8 is 10, 10 by 2, comma 25 plus 20 is 45 by 2. So 5 comma 22.5. So the coordinates of Rashmi is 5 comma 22.5, which means she has to be in the fifth row, fifth column. As you can see, I have correctly placed here. Okay, fifth column, and it will be between 22nd and 23rd pot. Okay, between 22nd and 23rd pot you will have this point. Okay, this is where Rashmi has to post the flag. So let me repeat it. It's very simple. See, in the question itself they were asked where should the flag be posted, and it is given that it should be posted exactly middle. Okay, and we have to find the coordinates. So what, to find this midpoint, coordinates of this midpoint, first we have to find the coordinates of Niharika and coordinates of Preet. That is the main task. So how do we do that? If you take the horizontal as the x-axis and the vertical as the y-axis, in the horizontal she is at the second column, so therefore 2 comma, now what is the distance that she has covered parallel to y? So that is given in the question, 1/4 of AD. AD is 100, so 1/4 of AD will become 25. So we got the coordinates of Niharika as 2 comma 25. Similarly, we got the coordinates of Preet as 8 comma 20. So once we got the coordinates, we can easily use the midpoint formula and find the answer. Okay, students. So we'll continue the remaining problems in the next video. Thank you, students.